Hey guys, this is Chris again with Lam'z Custom Construction. I'm here to showcase the second video of this epoxy pour. My first video was the blue marble color pour that I did with epoxy resin. Also, I want to mention a few things that I didn't in the previous video. You've seen me mess around with it on the piece. It was the tape dam I put up on the edges. What I did is I dammed the edge up with tape, got my epoxy in position, and then I removed the tape and let the epoxy cascade down the side, carrying the pattern over so you can get a nice consistent pattern on the edge of your piece as well. So what I've done so far is, after I've let this set, I've taken 120 grit sandpaper, sanded it down, and then I sanded it all the way up to 400 grit sandpaper. And now I'm going to lay the top coat, which is the clear coat, with the epoxy resin. Now if you wanted to give this more of a natural marble look, you can continue sanding up to 800 to, let's say, 1,000 grit sandpaper, and then use a spray-on matte finish for a protector and leave it like that, and that'll give you the natural marble look versus the high gloss that this epoxy pour I'm about to do on this gives it. My clients like the high gloss, so that's what I'm going to go with. So I'm going to continue sanding a few more times, wipe it off with a damp rag, dry it, and then show you guys how to do the clear coat itself. I've hit this with sandpaper quite a bit. Another thing I want to mention too, that I keep failing to mention, is the edges themselves. I want you guys, if you are doing a DIY project, to pay attention to these edges, because this edge, if it's too jagged or if it's too much at a 90-degree angle, it's going to hinder your epoxy from actually rolling over the edge, letting your pattern spread, and letting it self-level like the epoxy does on its own anyway. So I really kind of want y'all to pay attention to those edges when you're sanding them and preparing them. Round them off real good. Make sure your epoxy has a good surface that it can flow over and nothing hindering it and stopping it. And then your pattern's going to turn out a lot better. Your pour is going to turn out a lot better. The epoxy itself is self-leveling. That means you put it down there, as it spreads, it's going to level itself out on its own. And if you have a good surface and a good even rounded edge, then it's going to level a lot better, a lot smoother, a lot faster. Your patterns are going to turn out better. They're going to turn out different. Just, it's extremely important that you pay attention to your edges on your pieces. Make sure they're rounded off good, and don't leave them at too much of a 90, because if you do, it's just not going to turn out as good. You're going to see, the more you do this, the more you'll see what I'm talking about, and you'll get it. to run heat over it. This allows for all the air bubbles from mixing to get popped. All you want to do is go in brisk, smooth strokes, and you can sit there and watch the surface, and you can see the bubbles pop on the surface. You want to do this 2 or 3 times. And boom, it's gone. This is the good thing about it. Say I had to work and pick out a piece right here. You can see where I messed it up. Take your torch, hit it, it's gone. All right. Now is the time to get any imperfections in your epoxy out.